Thank you. Thank you all. It's incredibly complicated. There's a lot that's going on. And I had a conversation with someone sitting at a table last week that complained to me about where are we at 67 cents at this point for a first-class stamp. And they complained to me about the cost of that. And I said, I tell you what, I'm going to hand you a letter and I'm going to hand you 67 cents. And I'd like for you just to take this to somebody in Anchorage, Alaska for me. And they just smiled and said, point given. So the complications of this is immense. I'm also amazed as I have listened to other parts of the dais today about a $4 billion loss for the post office possibly, or maybe up to $6, realizing that today this Congress overspent $4 billion. That's our current rate of burn a day right now. So it's always interesting to me when we in Congress start criticizing any entity for overspending and where things are going, because we have our own challenges on that. So saying all that, this is complicated. I get that. What I'm always grateful for are specific solutions. Mr. Martinez, you brought a set of specific solutions to us on how to be able to handle debt and investing. Quite frankly, if the post office was allowed to be able to invest the same way just for federal and retirees are able to invest, this would be very different. But the post office has a very different standard than what federal retiree benefits actually have on it for the investment. Those are specific solutions. I appreciate that. I do have a couple of things just to be able to bring up, though, because as we walk through all of these different issues, I'm trying to identify when this gets better. We've talked about Richmond, we've talked about Atlanta and the decline in the service turnaround, we've talked about the increased cost on it. For the service turnaround time period, Mr. DeJoy, I know you've said over and over again, give us a little bit more time, the service will get better on it. What do you anticipate? Just take Atlanta for an example, because I've got Tulsa and Oklahoma City, there's Fayetteville, there's others that impact Oklahoma. They're about to walk through this process. Is it an expectation that every one of these locations will see a decline and then it will increase as far as the delivery time period?
I expect Atlanta, Richmond, we've opened up other RPDCs and they have not been as consequential. I expect these operations to be stabilized coming into the summer, into the summertime. There are other aspects of things that we're doing that impact this, transportation initiatives to stop running empty trucks, 50,000 empty trucks around the country, and so forth. So there are a lot of things coming together that will prove out this model is in fact work. It will in fact work. With regard to, so that's what I think. Combined with coming up on the election, I expect that we will slow down on a lot of the moves. Continue with the construction site. These MPAs that we're talking about, Reno, Tulsa, which are all will get investments into them to more appropriately serve the community and package industry and package business and so forth. Will most likely, we're collecting all the data to put our project plan to roll out these transitions around 40 locations, and most likely will not happen until the end of the first year. Nobody's going to have to commute to Boston. Nobody's going to have to commute to I forget where we're going in
Oklahoma City, Fayetteville.
Oklahoma City. And we're putting money into these facilities that have significant deferred maintenance.
So give me a little more specifics on the timeline, because you're saying because of the election, there's going to be a pause to be able to make sure we get through all the election delivery.
These are 40 sites. They're smaller mail moves. We've done this in the past. This is separate than the rollout of the network in Atlanta and so forth. This is just picking up outgoing mail, moving it to a place where we can consolidate all the outgoing mail that goes around the country, and refurbishing the facilities and make them more appropriate for today's business that we're going to be doing. So these are smaller moves. We don't expect to move people. Atlanta was moving like I said, 1,500 people out of 10 plants.
So timeline, when you said you're pausing this, the changes based on the elections.
We're going to collect all the stuff. We'll put a project plan together for all these sites, and most likely any of the mail move work will start after the first of after the first of the year. The construction might start earlier on these locations.
So I've heard that there's no change in FTEs except by attrition in some of these locations in that.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works.
Yeah. So as I said, we attrit 40,000 people a year. We stop the hiring, and the workforce comes down. I expect in these locations, I expect our package business to grow. We're not asking anybody to move. This is the way the format is put together. But I expect that we will attrit our labor down to the level that we need if it goes down. But I'm also expecting new demands and services that will in fact grow. We have a higher turnover rate on our pre-career. But we're not going to chase people out of these facilities.
The percentage in these locations that are experiencing change of supervisory to non-supervisory employees, will that percentage change?
Say that again, sir.
The percentage of change, the ratio of supervisory employees and non-supervisory employees in these changes, will there be a difference in the ratio there?
No, I think those ratios stay pretty, they're pretty memorialized in terms of how we operate. Other than for vacancies or inability to hire, we try and staff to a complement profile, and we'll continue to do that. These are not bad things.
Right. So Senator Paul brought up the issue about insourcing, and I know there's been some areas for the part-time moving to full-time. I understand that based on the career changes on this. On the transportation side, there has been a move towards insourcing on transportation. What's the cost benefit on that for not having outsourcing for some of the transportation areas?
I think that the consequence of that is very exaggerated. We run 55,000 trucks a day on the contracted side. We've made significant changes on the in terms of our supplier profile. We were having people go out of business every quarter. That we're moving 5,000, 10,000 trucks, around the country. That is changing the profile there on the local trips, servicing from processing plants to the new sorting and delivery centers and S&DCs. We are converting to a new driver type, PVO, non-CDL driver, right? So we can train within our own workforce and putting them in, straight trucks, smaller vehicles to more appropriately shuttle within the community to serve both the mail and package, package business. Is a common practice, and I think in the end of the day, it will be, more. It'll be more reliable. It'll be just as cost effective, and it's the right thing to do with all the transition that we're doing within some of my work complement. Right? We added 500 conveyors. That gets productivity out. We don't need as many hands. Right? I need positives also, and this is a function. And I don't think I've come out of industry. I've looked at our wage rates. I've looked at including the benefits. I know where labor is. I knew where labor was going before I got here. I was in that business, right? So I think that the postal employee can be successful here. The service can be successful here. We just have to change just about everything we're doing, okay, which is what we're embarking on. But I think it will be more reliable in terms of our service and flexibility.